So let's talk about what kind of literature the Gospels are. For years growing up, I was told some version of this, maybe you were too, that the Gospels were eyewitness historical accounts of the life, the death, the burial, the resurrection of Jesus. And that's all well and good, but there's issues with it. Right off the bat, one of the main issues is that if that were true, that's only true maybe of two of the Gospels. If we were to concede that Matthew and John were actually the Matthew and the John of the disciples, then okay. Then why do they differ so much is another question. But then it would not be true of Luke and Mark, right? And so we would have to really ask bigger questions. And the church tradition tries to solve that by saying, well, Mark is hooked in with Peter and Luke is hooked in with Paul, which Paul's not really an eyewitness of the events of the historical Jesus. So we'd have to ask bigger questions there. So, but all of that is debated for 100% sure, especially since we start asking deeper questions about what these Gospels are. So when we look into ancient history, however, and we take a look at historical documents and historians of the first century, like Josephus, like Tacitus, like all these guys, what we start seeing is that these don't look at all like ancient historian, takes. What they do look more like is ancient biographies, writings of people like Plutarch and that kind of thing. And so they really act more like an ancient biography. Now, we have to draw a distinction between what an ancient biography is and what a modern biography is. Modern biographies tend to be more historical in nature. They tend to be more chronological in nature. They tend to be more like, if you were to pick up a biography today of, like a president or something like that, you're going to have a more historical, chronological account of their life. Ancient biographies were very different. Ancient biographies were driven more by character of the person that they're writing about, snapshots of their life to get a sense of who that person was. They would focus on their death to make sure, like, hey, this is a real person. This is what they live for, and their legacy going forward. And so it would not be odd to have discrepancies between different ancient biographies of the same person.